Well, Steve, this collection seems endless. I feel like a kid in a candy store here. There's so much to look at and talk with you about, but I see some beautiful blue, familiar Subarus back here, which also have a great storied history in rally. Hoping we could talk about these a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously Subaru holds a special place in our heart here at DirtFish, and they're the platform which we base the rally school on. You know, Subaru and the blue is iconic. You know, if you go back to the 90s, the eras of the Richard Burns, the Colin McRae's, Subaru was the platform which was successful and iconic. And we feel really fortunate to have Subaru as part of DirtFish.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to drive these race cars?
Well, we've not talked about how my driving skills match up, and I'd have to be honest and say not very well. So I think it's probably best that we bring in somebody who I think is going to be driving some cars for us this afternoon, including this one, and somebody who's pretty close to me, our son, James Rimmer.
Oh, great. James. Great to meet you, James.
Great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. Just tell us a little bit more about what it's like to race these cars.
Yeah, so, you know, the one we're standing in front of right here, actually, the GC8, this was one of the first cars I learned to drive in. So it has a special place in my heart. I have pictures of me as a young child in the passenger seat with my dad in the driver's seat showing me how to work it all. And I have really fond memories of that because I grew up with these cars as posters on my wall. You know, we call them McRae driving.
Yep.
And you know, these are so fun to drive because when you get in them, you realize that while they look a little bit plain on the outside, especially with no decals on them, what it's built for is to be so precise, and it's built to be put through a forest and put exactly where you want it to be every single time. If you want to look at something a little more race prepped and has a little more history behind it, this is Travis Pastrana's championship winning car from Rally America. It's actually been fully restored by Vermont Sports Car, and we took delivery of it really within the past 6 months. This is an absolutely beautiful example. It is about as pristine as it gets when it comes to these cars. Overall, you know, you're really carrying on the Subaru heritage and the Subaru history, specifically through these colors that you're seeing in front of you.
Yeah, well, and that's a great maybe bridge over to the other Subaru we have in the lineup here. A road-going version, a special edition. And I think another great thing about a Subaru example is, you know, you race the car on Sunday, and you can go buy almost the exact same thing on Monday in the showroom.
Absolutely, and you know, obviously you drive it and you get inside of it. This one has navigation and the other ones don't, but
creature comforts.
It has the creature comforts that you sort of come to expect now with cars. But one of the things that my dad really pioneered in this collection is really trying to match up those road cars and those competition cars. So this really sits as a part of the collection just to show kind of putting these two next to each other, putting these three next to each other. You can really see the innovation over the years, and you can see all the differences, but you can see the similarities as well. Even when it just comes down to things like the color of the wheels and the color of the car, this World Rally Blue is so iconic.
Well, your mutual car passion is infectious. I'm fortunate enough to have inherited mine from my father. So I can sense that you guys have that same unique bond. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to you, Steve, to have kids that are interested in rallying and carrying the torch really behind the drivers?
You know, I didn't feel that I forced the kids to jump into the automotive passion, but I feel very blessed that they both seem to have that. And from the early days of putting them in the passenger seat and them being inquisitive and allowing them to shift the gears or whatever, I mean, it's been fabulous. And I've been really fortunate for James and Josie, who hopefully you might see this afternoon as well driving, to be both interested in rally and rallycross and motorsports generally. It's been great having James and Josie interested in something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, it's great. And James, for you growing up, you mentioned earlier the posters on the wall. I mean, what's it like? Do you have to pinch yourself when you climb behind the wheel? I mean, it's like a dream come true, right?
It is, and you know, it's hard to believe sometimes. And you know, like my dad, I have these memories of sitting in a passenger seat and him saying, you know, this is what this switch does and that's what that switch does, and it being so overwhelming at the time. And you know, what was great about it is that I didn't feel any pressure to be super involved with it all. So really what it came to be was my own personal passion tacked onto his passion for it. And I really got time to grow into that myself. You know, I wasn't pushed to be really into it. I wasn't pushed to drive at a super young age. At maybe 11 years old, he put me in a car and said, if you want to do it, go for it. And so I enjoyed it. I loved it. My sister is the same thing. We didn't push her into wanting to do it. My sister's a world champion horse rider, but she never was really interested in the car stuff until 2 years ago. And you know, we never pressured her into it. And then 2 years ago, she said, I'm interested. And we said, all right, well, we'll do what we can to get you in a car. And now we can't get her out of a car.
And I got to say, the team here at DirtFish are just unbelievable. I mean, hopefully you've seen some of that spirit around here. This is passion. This is a team who's passionate. These aren't just objects to them, you know, they're passionate about them. And the smile on their face when you see them around these cars, keeping them away right now, as you've also seen, has been difficult. And I'm so thankful to that also. And this is another car that we're going to drive this afternoon, and another Group B era car, the Metro 6R4. It's a very small, tight package. It was said to be a handful, so good luck this afternoon. You know, and I might not hang around to see the result, not that I don't have confidence in how you're going to do with it. But certainly, like most things, rallying, I remember when Alistair McRae got out of the car and there was a big smile on his face.
Well, I can't wait to see you behind the wheel.
Me too, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, Steve, on behalf of the Peterson Automotive Museum and the Global Garage team, thank you again for having us out here. Really a special day.
Well, really thanks to the Peterson, yourself, and everybody for causing this to happen. It's been just an awesome experience for me to see all the cars together. Something that hasn't really happened much before. Having rallying put up there in the headlines again, I think is a huge plus. And we really appreciate, you know, the Peterson and everybody involved for letting that happen. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the last thing we got to do is go drive them, right?
Let's go drive them.
All right. Great. Well, Josie, this is a surprise treat to have you out today too.
Thank you.
Part of the family out here at DirtFish. So tell us a little bit more about your driving passion and your history with it.
Well, obviously in my family, there's a little bit of built-in love for cars there.
Yeah.
That part's not really optional. But yeah, my dad stuck me in a car when I was 8 years old and I couldn't even reach the pedals, and I got in and I was like, why are there 3 pedals? So from there I got really interested in the cars. I liked going fast, and so I've been lucky enough to get the chance to drive these fun cars out here now. And
that's great. So your dad was telling us a little earlier today about your passion for horses. Yeah. And then you made the transition to a different kind of horsepower with the rally cars. So tell us a little bit about kind of the interest now in the rally cars.
Yeah, I mean, the skills that you gain as an equestrian transfer directly to the cars, to the balance and the feel and the ever-changing nature of them both. But the cars don't kick you, which is really nice. The skills transferred and the love for the competition transferred, and how it changes every day.
So Josie, you sort of photobombed us a little bit today. Showed up. Your dad said your brother was going to be here. We didn't know you were going to show up too.
Surprise.
We saw you out bombing in this baby. Can you tell us a little bit about this awesome little Ford that you're in?
Yeah, this is my favorite one in the collection. What I like about it is that it always feels like you're on the verge of maybe sliding out, maybe hitting something, but the car catches you every time. And it feels good to be in something with the history that this does. I feel so grateful to be able to drive it, so. Yeah.
Well, Josie, thanks so much for coming out today and surprising us with your presence.
Thank you.
It's great watching you drive, and we're certainly going to be cheering for you if you're out there competing.
Much. Always a happy day when I'm out here, for sure.
That's great. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right. I just love watching how smooth and easy it feels to you.
You know, it slows down after a little bit.
I don't know. Let's keep going. We don't know how many we've done. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Wow, what an incredible day out here at DirtFish. We can't thank them enough for hosting us. On behalf of all of us at Global Garages and the Peterson Automotive Museum, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you next time.